I stared down at the marriage contract on the table and thought, my life is a damn joke. Here I was, a 30-year-old man, getting my entire future arranged by my 5-year-old daughter. And she'd done a thorough job, too. A real professional. Daddy, Ms. Vance is really nice, Chloe said from her booster seat across from me. Her little legs swung back and forth, but her face was as serious as a judge's. She smells like vanilla, and she tells stories where the big bad wolf learns to eat salad. She's 100 times better than that lady you brought over last time who wore way too much perfume. I rub my temples. Chloe, honey, finding a wife isn't like picking out vegetables at the store. You don't just marry someone because she's a good teacher. Why not? Chloe tilted her head. Mrs. Peterson from downstairs says a house needs a woman. She said there are only 2 of us with the last name Hayes, and that we can't win against all those other ladies with different last names who want to be your wife. She said they're sneaky, and they'll spend all your money and be mean to me. I almost choked on my own spit. What on earth was old Mrs. Peterson filling my kid's head with? So, Chloe concluded, her logic airtight. We have to find a good one ourselves. Ms. Vance is good. Her last name isn't Hayes, but we found her. It's better the teacher you know than the stepmom you don. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. That was a new one. The doorbell rang. I got up to get it, and the person standing on the other side of the door made me pause. It was my daughter's kindergarten teacher, Nora Vance. She wasn't wearing her usual ponytail. Her long hair fell softly around her shoulders. Dressed in a simple beige sweater and jeans, she was holding a small cake box and looked a little uncomfortable. Mr. Hayes, good evening. Chloe invited me over for dinner. She said today was her mom's birthday. Nora's voice was gentle, but her eyes darted away. She clearly wasn't confident in the excuse. I shot a look back at Chloe. The little rascal was getting good at spinning stories. Chloe had already bounced over, grabbing Nora's hand. Ms. Vance, come. Daddy made shrimp scampi. It's super yummy, but not as yummy as yours. Nora let herself be pulled inside, giving me an apologetic smile. Sorry to intrude. Chloe was so insistent, I couldn't say no. I stepped aside to let her in. It's no problem. We can set another place. Please have a seat. The atmosphere at the dinner table was a little strange. Chloe was the only one keeping things lively, chattering away about her day at school, complimenting my cooking, then telling Nora how pretty her sweater was. I didn't say much, just peeled a shrimp for my daughter now and then, or answered Nora's questions about Chloe's progress in class. Nora was reserved, too, mostly listening or helping Chloe with her food. Toward the end of the meal, Chloe patted her little stomach, looked from me to Nora, and let out a dramatic sigh. Sigh. I raised an eyebrow. What's a little kid like you sighing about? Mrs. Peterson says other families have 3 people at dinner, Chloe said, propping her chin on her hands, her big eyes blinking. We only have 2. Daddy, what's the deal? Can't you find me a mom or something? Chloe, I said, my tone a little sharper. Nora couldn't help it. She ducked her head and smiled. Chloe leaned closer to Nora, lowering her voice, but still loud enough for the whole table to hear. Ms. Vance, my daddy's actually a pretty good catch. He makes good money. He's not bad looking, just a little boring. You want to think about it? If we team up, we can definitely beat all those mean ladies out there. Nora's face turned bright red. I decided dinner was officially over. Chloe, Hayes, go watch cartoons. 10 minutes. Chloe pouted but slid obediently off her chair. After a few steps, she turned back. Think about it, Ms. Vance. My daddy's single and in high demand. The little menace disappeared into the living room. The 2 of us were left alone in the dining room. The silence so thick you could hear the hum of the refrigerator. Ahem. I cleared my throat. Kids say the darndest things. Please don't take it seriously. Nora waved her hand, still blushing. It's fine, really. She's adorable. Just a little ahead of her time. I poured her a glass of water. I don't know where she gets this stuff. Sorry she put you on the spot. It's no trouble. Nora took the glass. She hesitated for a moment, then looked up at me. Mr. Hayes, actually, besides Chloe's invitation, there was something else I wanted to talk to you about. I met her eyes. Go on. Nora took a deep breath, her fingers tracing the side of the glass. I might need to get married. A fake one will be fine. I thought I'd heard her wrong. What? Her words came faster now, like she'd been holding them in for a long time. My family back home, they're pressuring me to get married. My mom's health isn't great, and lately, she keeps saying that me being single is breaking her heart. I didn't know what else to do, so I told her I had a boyfriend here in the city and that we were getting married soon. She paused, looking at my blank expression, and pushed on. But now they want to come visit. Next month. I couldn't find anyone to pretend, and Chloe is always so sweet to me. So in a moment of panic, I told them my boyfriend was Chloe's dad. I leaned back in my chair, saying nothing. Nora rushed to add, I know it's crazy, completely insane. You can say no, it's totally fine. I'll figure something else out, or just confess. It's just, I'm worried the shock would be too much for my mom. My daughter's words echoed in my head. There are only two of us with the last name Hayes. We can't win. And here was Ms. Vance, Nora, looking so gentle, yet dropping this bombshell on me. But strangely, I wasn't annoyed. Maybe it was because my daughter adored her. Maybe it was the genuine worry in her eyes when she talked about her mother. Or maybe, just maybe, I was sick of the endless blind dates and women with ulterior motives. A fake marriage? I said. Nora nodded, her eyes full of anxiety. Like with a marriage license and everything? That would be best. They might check. Her voice got quieter. But I can sign anything, a prenup, whatever you want. It would just be a name only. Once this blows over and my mom is reassured, we can get a quiet divorce. I'll cover all the expenses, and I can even pay you for your time, though I know you probably don't need the money. My fingers tapped lightly on the table. The exaggerated laughter from a cartoon drifted in from the living room. Nora, yes. You heard my daughter. She gave me a mission to find someone reliable. I looked at her. Do you think you're reliable? Nora was taken aback. She thought for a moment, then answered seriously. I believe I'm a person of good character. I have a stable job, no bad habits, I respect others, and I love children. As a business partner, I should be considered reliable. During this fake marriage, will we have to live together? I asked. It would be best to stay over sometimes, to keep up appearances. Most of the time, I'll stay in my own place. I won't bother you, she said quickly. I was quiet for a moment. Chloe's little head peeked around the living room doorframe, her eyes wide with hope. Daddy? Ms. Vance? Are you guys done talking? He weaved hill. Chloe ran to me, and I lifted her onto my lap. Chloe, Ms. Vance and I are discussing something very important, I said. What? Are you getting married? Her eyes lit up. I didn't answer directly, looking instead at Nora. I have one condition. Nora sat up straighter. Tell me. Be good to Chloe. Genuinely good to her, I said, my voice steady but my gaze serious. Not just for show. Whatever this is between us, she's a kid. She'll believe it's real. Nora looked at Chloe's bright, hopeful eyes, and her expression softened. She nodded, her voice firm. I will. I already adore Chloe. Chloe let out a cheer and threw her arms around my neck. Yay, Daddy, you finally get it. Ms. Vance, does this mean we're family now? Nora blushed again, unsure how to answer. I patted my daughter's back. Go turn off the TV and get ready for your bath. Grown-ups have to finish talking. Chloe dutifully slid down and at the doorway, turned back to give us a thumbs up. Go, Daddy. Go, Ms. Vance. The little girl skipped off. I turned my attention back to Nora. You can draft the agreement. Get all the terms in writing. You pick the date for City Hall. Just let me know in advance. Also, I paused. We'll need to do some acting in front of my parents and yours. Don't blow our cover. Nora let out a breath she'd been holding, followed by a wave of disbelief. She just married herself off? Mr. Hayes, thank you, she said, her voice full of sincerity. Call me Ethan. I stood up and started clearing the table. Mr. Hayes and Ms. Vance is a little formal. Nora quickly stood to help. Then, Ethan, you can call me Nora. Okay. I stacked the plates and then remembered something. You said your mom is coming next month? Yes. Then we'd better get moving. I put the dishes in the sink. First, we need to take a trip to my hometown to see my parents. They're even more relentless than your mom. Nora's hand slipped, and she almost dropped the glass she was holding. Meet your parents. What else? I turned on the faucet, the water rushing. If we're going to do this, we do it right. My parents are sharp. They're not easy to fool. Standing under the kitchen light, watching the back of Ethan Hayes as he rolled up his sleeves to wash the dishes. Nora suddenly realized she might have just jumped onto a pirate ship. One steered by a 5-year-old girl, rowed by her father, destination unknown. But strangely, besides the nerves, she felt a faint flicker of anticipation. I shut off the water, shook the drops from my hands, and glanced back at her. "What are you standing there for?" "Cover the leftovers." "All right." Nora snapped back to reality and started looking for the plastic wrap. Outside, the night had deepened, dotted with city lights. For the first time, this home was filled with the sounds of 3 people. Nora sat in my car, her palms sweating. It was the weekend. As planned, we were driving to my hometown, a small town a couple of hours from the city, for the first Meet the Parents rehearsal. Chloe, on the other hand, was thrilled. She sat in her car seat, kicking her feet and humming a song. "Ms. Vance, my grandma is the best cook, and Grandpa can carve little wooden ponies. And we have a big orange cat named Gus who's as fat as a pig." I glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "Chloe, sit still." Chloe stuck her tongue out, quieted down for a few seconds, then couldn't help herself. "Daddy, are we telling Grandma and Grandpa you're getting married this time?" Nora's breath hitched. I kept my eyes on the road. "Yeah, so you need to be on your best behavior. No saying the wrong thing." "I know." Chloe raised her little hand. "I'll just say, Miss, Vance is super nice to me, and you two are super in love, and it's a match made in heaven." Nora almost laughed at the formal phrase, her nerves easing a bit. "Chloe, where did you learn that?" "From TV," Chloe said proudly. "That's what they always say at weddings." I flicked on the turn signal, exiting the highway. "Nora, my dad's a quiet guy, but he doesn't miss a thing. My mom loves to talk and ask questions. They've been wanting me to remarry for years, to give Chloe a complete family. So they'll be happy about this, but they'll also be watching you closely." My tone was calm, like I was giving a briefing at work. "Just act natural. The less you say, the fewer mistakes you can make. If they ask, just say we met through Chloe and decided we were a good fit after getting to know each other. I'll fill in the details." "Okay," Nora nodded, taking mental notes. "Also," I added after a beat, "they'll probably ask about a wedding. Just say we're busy with work, getting the license first, and we'll think about a party later." Nora kept nodding like an obedient student. "Ich glänzt her." "Don't just nod. Relax. You look like you're heading to your execution." Nora managed a smile. "I'll try." The car pulled into a quiet residential community. My parents lived on a ground floor with a small yard. As soon as I parked, the gate opened and a smiling, middle-aged woman in an apron hurried out. "You're here. Chloe, Grandma missed you so much." My mom scooped up her granddaughter first, planting kisses on her cheeks before her eyes landed on me and Nora. Her gaze lingered on Nora, her smile widening. "You must be Nora. Oh, you're lovely. Quick, come inside." My dad came out too, tall and serious looking, but his eyes softened when he saw his granddaughter. "You're back." "Mom, Dad." I greeted them, taking the box of fruit Nora was holding. "This is Nora." "Hello, it's so nice to meet you," Nora said, trying to make her smile look natural. "Wonderful, wonderful. Don't just stand there, come in." My mom enthusiastically took Nora's hand, leading her inside while sizing her up, her eyes filled with undisguised approval. "Ethan told me on the phone, but I didn't believe it. How'd he get so lucky to find a girl like you?" Nora smiled bashfully. "You're too kind." The house was clean and cozy, and the dining table was already set with a few cold dishes. A fat orange cat was napping on the sofa. He opened one, I had to look at the newcomers, then closed it again. Chloe ran over to pet him. "Gus, did you miss me?" Gus let out a half-hearted meow. My mom sat Nora down on the sofa and began the full interrogation. Where was she from? How old was she? What did she do? How many people in her family? How were her parents' health? Nora answered everything according to the script we'd prepared, her palms starting to sweat again. I sat in a separate armchair, occasionally chiming in, but mostly playing on my phone, though Nora noticed my ears were definitely perked. My dad didn't say much. He made tea and poured everyone a cup. "We really appreciate you looking after Chloe at school," he said to Nora, his tone sincere. "Chloe's a wonderful, smart girl," Nora said quickly. My mom slapped her thigh. "Isn't she, though? Our Chloe is a sweetheart." "Nora, you have no idea how hard it's been for Ethan, raising her alone. He's so busy with work, being both a mom and a dad all these years. We're too far away to help much." But now, with you here, this house finally feels like a home. Nora could only smile and nod. Mom, that's enough, I said, putting my phone away. It's Nora's first time here. Don't scare her off. I'm just happy. My mom shot back, then turned to Nora with a smile. Don't mind me, dear. I just talk a lot. So, when are you two planning on making it official? Here it comes. Nora looked at me. I put down my teacup. We're both busy lately, so we'll get the license first. We can have a party later when we have time. Nonsense, my mom disagreed. Getting married is a big deal. You have to pick a good day. The party can wait, but you need some kind of ceremony. We could have a small dinner at home, invite close family and friends, just to announce it. My dad chimed in. Your mother's right. If you've decided, you should do it properly. It's a matter of respect for the young lady. I frowned. It's too much trouble. What trouble? Your father and I will handle it. You don't have to lift a finger, my mom said excitedly. The 6th of next month is a good day. That gives us enough time. Just a few tables for our closest people. Nora panicked internally. The 6th of next month? That was right when her mother was supposed to visit. I clearly thought of the same thing. Next month won't work. Nora and I have plans. We'll talk about it later. My mom was about to protest, but my dad gave her a look. The kids have their own plans. Don't butt in. Let's eat before the food gets cold. Lunch was a feast. My mom was an excellent cook. At the table, she kept putting food on Nora's plate, while Chloe chattered about school and her amazing teacher. The atmosphere was surprisingly pleasant. My dad asked a few questions about my work, which I answered briefly. Occasionally, he'd ask Nora for her opinion on raising children, and she answered cautiously. After lunch, Chloe begged her grandpa to go do some woodworking. My mom cleared the table, and when Nora tried to help, she was shooed away. You go rest. Talk to Ethan. I don't need you in here. Nora had no choice but to go back to the living room. I was on the balcony, taking a work call, my voice calm and concise. Nora sat on the sofa. Gus the cat jumped up and rubbed against her hand. She petted him gently, her mind a swirl of emotions. My parents were kinder and more welcoming than she'd imagined. The guilt from this deception felt heavy. I finished my call and came back inside, sitting down next to her, leaving a person's worth of space between us. You're handling it well, I said in a low voice. Your mother is so nice, Nora said with a sad smile. I feel like I'm doing something terrible. Ich glänze hier. The contract says it's mutually beneficial. You help me deal with my parents, I help you deal with your mom. It's a fair trade. Even so, Nora still felt uneasy. In the afternoon, my mom pulled out an old calendar and insisted on picking a date for the marriage license. We compromised on a Friday, 3 weeks from now. She said it was an auspicious day for a wedding. It was dark by the time we left my parents' house. Chloe had fallen asleep in the car. Back in the city, I dropped Nora off at her apartment building first. Thank you for today, Nora said before getting out. Yeah, I grunted. I'll email you the revised contract tonight. Are you free next weekend? Why? We need to buy rings, I said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. If you're going to do it right. Also, I need to come by your place to get familiar with it, so I don't mess up when your mom starts asking questions. Nora thought for a moment. Saturday afternoon works. I have a class in the morning. Okay, I nodded. Saturday at 2. I'll pick you up. Nora stood on the sidewalk, watching my taillights disappear before turning to go upstairs. Back in her small, quiet apartment, she leaned against the door and let out a long breath. Was this really happening? Was she really getting married? Her phone buzzed. It was the revised prenuptial agreement for me. The terms were clear and responsibilities defined. Separate finances, no interference in each other's private lives. The agreement could be extended after 1 year with mutual consent, or the marriage could be dissolved. Upon dissolution, neither party could claim assets from the other. There was a special addendum. Both parties must maintain the image of a harmonious couple in front of family and fulfill their duties of care for Chloe Hayes. It was cold and businesslike. Nora scrolled down and saw the last clause. During the term of the agreement, if either party finds someone they truly love, they may request an early termination, and the other party must cooperate. She stared at that line for a long time before hitting save. Fine. Clear boundaries would prevent anyone from getting hurt. She took a shower and lay down in bed, but couldn't sleep. Her mind flashed with images of my kind parents, Chloe's dependent eyes, and my own unreadable expression. Her phone lit up again. It was a text from me, just 2 words, good night. Nora replied, Good night. She put her phone down and closed her eyes. It's just an act, she told herself. A year will go by fast. But she couldn't know, when the curtain finally fell, who would be the first to break character and who would be lost in the role. Outside, the city night was still noisy. The paths of two people, once parallel, had begun to slowly converge, all because of a 5-year-old's words and a desperate agreement. Whether it would lead to fortune or disaster, truth or lies, no one could say. On Saturday afternoon, I showed up at Nora's apartment building right on time. When she got in the car, Nora noticed Chloe wasn't there. Where's Chloe? Dropped her at her grandma's. It's not convenient for her to tag along today. I started the car. To the mall first? Nora buckled her seatbelt. Okay. The drive to the mall was quiet. I drove steadily, eyes on the road. Nora watched the scenery flash by, mentally preparing for the performance ahead. Inside the jewelry store, a sales associate greeted them warmly. I went straight to the point. Wedding bands, simple designs. The associate showed us a few options, and I let Nora choose. She stared at the sparkling rings, feeling a little dazed. She never thought her first time picking out a wedding ring would be under these circumstances. This one, she said, pointing to the simplest pair of platinum bands. I picked it up for a closer look. Try it on. Nora held out her left hand. I took the woman's ring and slid it onto her ring finger. The size was perfect. My hand was dry and warm, the touch brief. It works, I said, trying on the men's band myself. It fit too. We'll take these. The associate complimented our taste, saying the simple bands were classic and symbolized purity. Purity? Nora laughed bitterly to herself. I paid with my card, and as we walked out with the small ring box, Nora felt the metal circle on her finger burn. To your place now? I asked. Yeah, it's not far from here. Nora's apartment was in an older building. A one-bedroom, not large but clean and cozy, with lots of plants on a balcony. I walked in and scanned the place. The bookshelf was filled with books on education and child psychology. The sofa had soft throw pillows, and the coffee table held a simple tea set. Have a seat. I'll get you some water, Nora said, nervous, like a student whose homework was being graded. I sat on the sofa. Don't worry about it. She poured a glass of water for me anyway and sat across from me, hands folded in her lap. I took a sip. Your mom's staying here when she visits? Yes. She'll take the bedroom. I'll sleep on the sofa, Nora said. She'll probably stay for 3 or 4 days. I nodded. I'll come over a few times while she's here. Act like I'm a regular. You should probably have some of my favorite drinks in the fridge, my razor in the bathroom, and a couple of my shirts in the closet. Nora made a mental note of each item. Okay. I put the glass down and looked at her. We need to get our love story straight. How we met, who pursued who, why we decided to get married. Nora straightened up. Chloe is in my class. We met a few times when you picked her up. Then, at the school's open house, we talked more and found we had a lot in common. So, we started seeing each other. Who asked who out first? I asked. Nora froze. She hadn't thought about that detail. I did. I filled in. I asked you to dinner. You said yes. After 3 months, I decided you were kind, good to Chloe, and the kind of person I could build a life with, so I proposed. You accepted. It was a bland story, but it fit my personality perfectly. Okay, Nora nodded. Also, I added, in front of my parents and your mom, we need to change how we address each other. No more Mr. Hayes. Use my name, or husband. I said the last word flatly, but Nora's ears burned. And I have to call you. Wife, she asked in a small voice. When necessary, I said, my expression unchanged. In private, we'll stick to our names. Nora breathed a sigh of relief. Good. I walked around her apartment a bit more, checking out the kitchen and bathroom like I was casing the joint. Then I returned to the living room. How about the basic layout? Let me know your mom's exact arrival date, and I'll clear my schedule. Okay. Nora walked me to the door. At the door, I turned back. The rings. Should we wear them all the time? Nora thought about it. When my mom is here, definitely. Other times, whatever's convenient for you. Let's just wear them, I said. Get used to it, so we don't forget. I held up my own left hand, the simple band already on my ring finger. I'll keep mine on. Nora looked down at the ring on her own hand and nodded. I left. Nora closed the door and leaned against it, holding her hand up to the light to look at the ring. A simple, unadorned circle. yet it felt inexplicably heavy. Her phone buzzed. It was a text from her best friend, Sarah. Nora, what are you up to this weekend? Shopping? Nora replied. Something came up. Next time? Sarah, so mysterious. Don't tell me you're finally dating someone. Nora's fingers hovered over the screen. How could she explain this to Sarah? That to get her mom off her case, she'd found a guy for a contract marriage, and he happened to be her student's dad? Better not to say anything. She'd tell her after the wedding. She sent a sticker to deflect the question. The next 2 weeks passed without much change. Nora went to work, took care of the kids in her class. I went to work, picked up Chloe. But now, when we saw each other at the school gate, we'd chat a little longer, like a real teacher and parent who were dating. Chloe was ecstatic, telling everyone that Ms. Vance was going to be her new mom. Nora told her to keep it a secret for now, but kids can't keep secrets. Soon, a few other teachers knew and were congratulating Nora, asking when the wedding was. Nora could only give vague answers, saying it was still a ways off. On Friday night, I sent her a text. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. at the county clerk's office. Bring your ID. Nora's heart pounded as she read the message. It was really happening. She replied, okay. She couldn't sleep that night. She tossed and turned, her mind a mess. The thought of becoming a legally married woman tomorrow, to a man she barely knew, was utterly absurd. But there was no turning back now. The contract was signed, the parents had been met, the rings were bought. The next day, Nora woke up early. She put on some light makeup and a white blouse with a beige skirt to look presentable. Before leaving, she looked at herself in the mirror and took a deep breath. You can do this, Nora. It's only for a year. When she arrived at the courthouse, I was already there. I was also wearing a white shirt with dress pants, looking sharp. I was holding Chloe's hand. The little girl was dressed in a pretty dress with a bow in her hair. Ms. Vance. Chloe ran over to her. Nora picked her up. You look so pretty today, Chloe. Of course I have to be pretty. You guys are getting married today, Chloe said, hugging her neck. Ms. Vance, are you nervous? Nora smiled. A little. I walked over, my eyes lingering on her face for a second. Let's go. It's not crowded. The process was simpler than she'd imagined. Filling out forms, taking a photo, a brief ceremony, a stamp. When we took the photo, the clerk told us to stand closer and smile. My arm rested lightly on Nora's shoulder. Nora forced a smile. The flash went off, capturing the moment. When a marriage certificate was in her hand, Nora felt it was burning hot. Chloe looked at it curiously. Is that the marriage license? Let me see. I took both documents, put them in my pocket. You can look at home. Let's go. Stepping out of the courthouse, the sunlight was bright. Nora looked at the bustling street, feeling a sense of unreality. She was married? I'll take you home, I said. In the car, Chloe chattered away, planning how they should celebrate. I told her I'd take her for her favorite pizza tonight. When we got to Nora's apartment building, I parked the car. Your mom arrives next Wednesday, right? I asked. Yes, the 3 o'clock train. I'll come get you, and we'll go to the station together, I said. Over the next few days, I'll stop by to drop some of my things off. Okay. Nora got out of the car, took a few steps, then turned back. I had rolled down the window and was looking at her. Nora hesitated. Thank you. I just nodded, said nothing, and rolled the window up before driving away. Nora turned and went upstairs. Opening the door to her empty apartment was a stark reminder that what had just happened wasn't a dream. She took the ring out of her purse and slowly slid it back onto her ring finger. The cool metal gradually warmed to her skin. Her phone buzzed. It was a voice message from her mom. Nora, honey, I've got my ticket for next Wednesday afternoon. Did you say your boyfriend is picking me up? That's so nice of him. Oh, what does he like to eat? I'll bring some specialties from home. Listening to her mom's happy voice, Nora felt a mix of emotions. She replied, Mom, don't bring too much, it'll be heavy. He's not a picky eater. Putting her phone down, she looked around her small apartment. Soon, a grand play was about to unfold right here, and she had to be the perfect leading lady. The night before Nora's mom arrived, I showed up at her apartment with a duffel bag. Just a few changes of clothes and some toiletries. I explained, then very naturally hung my shirts in her closet, placed my razor and toothbrush in the bathroom, and put a few beers and a bottle of club soda in the fridge. Nora followed behind me, watching as I moved around her apartment with a strange familiarity, like it was my own home. You seem very practiced at this. She couldn't help but say. I closed the fridge and turned to her. I used to travel a lot for work. Got used to adapting to new places quickly. I walked into the living room, pulled a picture frame from my bag, and set on the TV stand. It was the family photo my mom had insisted we take at my parents' house. In it, I had a neutral expression. Nora was smiling, and Chloe was grinning from ear to ear. This is a nice touch, Nora nodded. It looks real. Ich glänzte her. It is a real photo. Nora was speechless. Fair point. And these? I took out 2 pairs of matching slippers, one gray and one pink, and placed them by the door. Your mom might notice the details. Nora looked at the pink slippers, and something stirred inside her. He'd thought of everything. Thank you. That's very thoughtful. I sat on the sofa. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll pick you up, and we'll go to the station together. After we get your mom, we'll go straight to the restaurant I booked. It's a nice place, quiet, with lighter food that's good for older folks. Okay. Nora sat across from me. My mom could be a bit talkative and asks a lot of questions. Please be patient with her. Right? I said. You too. Don't be nervous. Just act natural. How could she not be nervous? Nora thought. The next afternoon, Nora took a half day off work. I arrived right on time to pick her up, with Chloe in tow. I get to meet Grandma, Chloe announced excitedly. At the train station, we waited a few minutes before people started streaming out of the arrival gate. Nora quickly spotted her mother, a short woman carrying several bags. Mom, she waved. Her mother saw her and hurried over, a huge smile on her face. Her eyes then fell on me and Chloe. Hello, ma'am. I'm Ethan, I said, stepping forward to take the heaviest bags from her hands. The car's just outside. Let me get these. Oh, thank you so much, Ethan. Her mom looked me over, her eyes full of obvious approval. And this must be Chloe. What a cutie. Hello, Grandma, Chloe said sweetly. Nora's mom was overjoyed, patting Chloe's head. Such a good girl. On the way to the restaurant, her mom sat in the back, holding Nora's hand, and asked in a stage whisper loud enough for me to hear. So that's him? He's very nice, Nora. Handsome. Seems responsible. And good with the child. Nora could only nod. Yes. How did you two meet? Tell me everything. Nora recited our rehearsed story. Her mom listened intently, nodding along. It's fate. That's what it is, her mom said. And Chloe loves you so much. She'll be like your own daughter. The restaurant was elegant. I was the perfect gentleman, pulling out her mother's chair, asking about her food preferences before ordering, and making conversation to avoid any awkward silences. Her mom was more and more impressed, and her questions grew more personal. My job, my family, our plans for the future. I answered everything flawlessly, with a sincere and respectful tone. Nora listened from the side, adding a word here and there, but feeling increasingly fraudulent. I was too good at this acting thing. So good she almost believed it was real. Chloe was a great supporting actress, too, chiming in to praise her dad and Ms. Vance, talking about how in love we were. By the end of the meal, Nora's mom was completely sold. Seeing you two so happy, I can finally rest easy, her mom said, taking Nora's hand, her eyes a little red. Your father passed so young, and you were the one I worried about most. But now, with Ethan to take care of you, and a sweet child like Chloe, your family is complete. Nora's nose tingled, and guilt washed over her. She fought back tears and forced a smile. Don't worry, Mom. We'll be fine. I refilled her mom's tea. Ma'am, since you're here, please stay a few more days. On the weekend, I'll take you, Nora, and Chloe out somewhere nice. Oh, that's wonderful, as long as I'm not a bother, her mom said, beaming. After dinner, we went back to Nora's apartment. The first things her mom noticed were the matching slippers by the door, the photo on the TV stand, the beer in the fridge, and my razor in the bathroom. The smile on her face became even more genuine. That night, Nora gave her mom the bedroom and took the sofa. I left with Chloe, saying we'd be back tomorrow. After her shower, Nora's mom sat on the sofa to talk. Nora, I can tell Ethan is a good man. He's a man of few words, but he's thoughtful and observant. And he truly cares for you. I can see it. Nora twisted her fingers in her lap. Mom, and Chloe adores you. That's a blessing. Her mom patted her hand. You're a family now. Live a good life. Have your own babies soon. Make the house even livelier. Nora blushed. Mom, it's too soon for that. Not at all, her mom laughed. I'm already looking forward to it. Late that night, after her mom had gone to bed, Nora lay on the sofa, staring at the ceiling, wide awake. The guilt of deceiving her mother felt like a heavy stone on her chest. But if she told the truth, could her mother handle it? Could her fragile health withstand that kind of shock? Either way was wrong. She had chosen the path she thought would cause less harm. Her phone screen lit up. A text from me. Did today go okay? Nora replied, It went great. My mom is very happy with you. Thank you. Me good. I'll bring breakfast over tomorrow morning. Nora, okay. She put down her phone and closed her eyes. She pictured me at the restaurant, handling everything with ease, carrying her mother's bags, wiping Chloe's mouth. This man was a seamless actor. She just wondered if he wore a mask for long enough. Do you forget what's real and what's not? The next day was Saturday, and as promised, I arrived with breakfast and Chloe. Bagels, cream cheese, and bacon. A simple, homey meal. Nora's mom was even happier, thinking I was a down-to-earth guy, not flashy. After breakfast, I suggested a walk in a nearby park. The four of us looked like a real family, strolling in the sun, watching Chloe play on the playground. Her mom and I chatted, and she asked about my parents. I told her they were in a small town a few hours away, doing well, and that we'd have them over for a visit when the weather cooled down. Her mom nodded, then started telling funny stories about Nora's childhood. I listened, occasionally glancing at Nora with a faint smile in my eyes. Nora felt a bit flustered under my gaze and looked away. We ate lunch out, then took her mom back to the apartment to rest. I had to go to the office for an emergency, so I left with Chloe. With just the two of them at home, Nora's mom pulled her onto the sofa and took out a small red cloth bundle from her purse. Nora, this is for you. Nora opened it. Inside was a pair of gold bracelets and a debit card. Mom, what is this? The bracelets were a gift from your grandmother to me, and now I'm passing them to you. Her mom slipped them onto Nora's wrist. The card has all the money I've saved over the years. It's not much, about $10,000. Take it as your dowry. I know Ethan is well off, and we're not after his money, but we have to follow tradition. You keep this money, use it for the house, or buy yourself something nice. Tears welled up in Nora's eyes. Mom, I can't take this. You keep it for your retirement. I have my pension. It's enough, her mom said, wiping away Nora's tears. Silly girl, what are you crying for? Seeing you happy is all that matters to me. You have to take this money, or I won't be at ease. Nora held the card, which felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. She hugged her mother, her voice choked with sobs. Mom, I'm so sorry. Don't be silly, her mom said, patting her back. Why would you apologize to me? Just live a good life with Ethan. Bring Chloe to visit me often, and I'll be content. Nora buried her face in her mother's shoulder, her tears soaking the fabric. I am sorry, Mom. I lied to you, but I had no other choice. Nora's mom stayed for 3 days. I came by every day, eating with them, chatting. Her mom left completely reassured, happily taking the train home. The day she left, Nora cried for a long time at the station. I stood beside her, handing her tissues, saying nothing. On the drive back, Nora was quiet and sad. The contract allows for additional compensation, I said suddenly. The money your mom gave you, you can consider it a loan from me. You can pay her back later. Nora shook her head. No, that's okay. This is my problem. I'll handle it. I glanced at her, but didn't press the issue. I pulled up to her apartment building. Nora unbuckled her seatbelt, mumbled her thanks, and was about to get out. Nora, I called. She turned back. My fingers drummed on the steering wheel as I seemed to search for the right words. Your mom really wants the best for you. Nora's nose tingled. I know. So, I continued, even if it's just to not disappoint her for this year, let's try to make our performance more convincing. Be a little better to Chloe and cooperate with each other a little better. Nora looked at me. My eyes were calm, but my tone was serious. Okay, she nodded, and I paused. Act the same way in front of my parents from now on. Nora understood. We were in this together now, and we had to maintain this lie until the contract was up. Understand, she said. Back in her apartment, the empty space still held traces of her mother's visit. Nora walked to the TV stand and picked up the family photo. In the picture, Chloe was smiling without a care in the world. She and I were standing side by side, and we looked surprisingly like a real couple. She put the frame down and looked at the ring on her finger. A grand performance had just begun, and she was starting to lose track of where the stage ended and real life began. After Nora's mom left, life seemed to return to normal, yet something was different. Nora kept the ring on her finger. At first, it felt strange, and she'd twist it constantly, but eventually she got used to it. Her colleagues at the kindergarten all knew she was married and would sometimes tease her about it. Nora could only smile. I kept my ring on, too. One day, a subordinate saw it during a meeting, sparking a bit of office gossip. I simply said I was married to Chloe's teacher and offered no more details. Chloe was the happiest of all. She called Nora my mom all the time. Nora corrected her a few times, telling her to still call her Ms. Vance when they were out, which the little girl reluctantly agreed to. On weekends, I would sometimes bring Chloe over. We'd cook together, or I'd take them out to eat or to an amusement park. To anyone watching, we were a happy family of three. A subtle understanding formed between Nora and me. In front of Chloe, we talked like normal parents, our tones natural. When we were alone, we kept a polite, professional distance. Until that Friday night. I had a last-minute work dinner and called Nora, asking if she could pick up Chloe from school. I'd come to her apartment later to get her. Nora agreed. After work, she picked Chloe up, took her back to her apartment, made her dinner, and they spent the evening drawing and watching TV. Around 9, Chloe started yawning. Nora got her ready for bed, changed her into the pajamas she'd brought, and tucked her in her own bed. The little girl fell asleep quickly. Nora quietly closed the bedroom door and went back to the living room to clean up the toys. Then she sat on the sofa to wait for me. As she waited, she started to get sleepy and leaned back, closing her eyes. She didn't know how much time had passed when she heard the lock turn. She woke with a start to see me letting myself in. I looked tired and smelled faintly of alcohol. "She's asleep?" I asked in a low voice. "Yeah, in my bed," Nora said, standing up. "Do you want to carry her home? Or should I let her stay here?" I checked the time. It was almost 11. "It's too late. Let's not disturb her. Let her sleep. I'll pick her up in the morning." "Then you—" Nora hesitated. "I'll crash on the sofa for the night," I said, taking off my suit jacket and loosening my tie. "Is that okay?" "Of course," Nora said quickly. "Let me get you a blanket and pillow." She got out the spare bedding and set it up on the sofa. I went to the bathroom to wash up. Nora went back to the bedroom, checked on the sleeping Chloe, and gently closed the door. When she came out, I was done, dressed in a t-shirt and sweatpants, sitting on the sofa and dealing with messages on my phone. "You should get some rest," Nora said. "Yeah," I replied without looking up. Nora went back to her room, lying down on the outer edge of the bed. She watched Chloe's peaceful, sleeping face and listened to the faint sound from the living room, her mind in a jumble. This was the first time I had stayed the night. Even though I was in the living room and she was in the bedroom, it still felt different. She turned over, forcing herself to sleep. In the middle of the night, Nora woke up thirsty. She tiptoed out of bed and went to the kitchen for a glass of water. A small nightlight cast a dim glow over the living room. I was lying on the sofa, seemingly asleep, the blanket half fallen off. Nora walked over and gently pulled the blanket up over me. As she got closer, she could smell the faint scent of alcohol and aftershave. Just as she was about to turn away, I suddenly moved and opened my eyes. Our gazes met in the dim light, the distance between us small. Nora's heart skipped a beat. She quickly stood up straight. I was just getting some water." She hurried to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and drank most of it in one gulp. After calming herself, she came back out. I had sat up and was rubbing my temples. "Did I wake you?" Nora asked. "No, I'm a light sleeper," I said, my voice hoarse from sleep. "What time is it?" Nora glanced at the wall clock. "A little after 2. I nodded, but didn't say anything. "Do you want some water?" Nora asked. "Sure." Nora went back to get another glass and handed it to me. I took it and drank half of it. The living room was silent, save for the occasional sound of a car passing outside. "Thanks for taking care of Chloe," I said, putting the glass down. "Of course," Nora said. "I love having her." I looked at her. "I know." A brief silence hung between us. "You should get back to bed," I said. "You have work tomorrow." "Right. You too." Nora turned and went back to the bedroom, closing the door behind her. Leaning against the door, she heard the sofa creak, then silence. She got back into bed, but couldn't fall asleep. In the darkness, my eyes had been clear and deep, not like someone who'd been drinking. She shook her head, telling herself she was overthinking it. The next morning, Nora woke to the smell of frying eggs. She got up and went out to see me in the kitchen, wearing her floral apron, making breakfast. Chloe was already awake, sitting patiently at the table, her little legs dangling. The scene was so domestic, almost cozy. "Good morning, Ms. Vance," Chloe chirped. "Morning," Nora said, walking over. "Let me do that." "Almost done," I said without turning around. "Go get ready." When Nora came out of the bathroom, breakfast was on the table. Fried eggs, bacon, toast, and milk. "Daddy made it. It's delicious," Chloe said, taking a bite of toast. The three of us sat down to eat. Chloe chattered about her plans for the day. Wanted to go to the amusement park. "Not today, honey. Daddy has to go into the office this morning," I said. "We can go this afternoon." Chloe pouted, but didn't argue. After breakfast, I cleaned the kitchen and then left with Chloe. Before going, I said to Nora, "I'll pick you up this afternoon. We can all go together." Nora was surprised. "Me too." "Chloe wants you to come," I said, then paused. "It's the weekend. You should relax a little too." Chloe nodded eagerly beside me. "Please come, Ms. Vance." Nora looked at the little girl's expectant face, and her heart melted. Okay. That afternoon, I picked her up right on time. The amusement park was crowded, mostly with families. Chloe had a blast, riding the carousel, driving bumper cars, and wanted to go on the roller coaster, though she wasn't tall enough. I was quiet, as usual, but followed them around, buying tickets, water, and holding their things. Nora played with Chloe, wiping her sweat and fixing her hair. When they were tired, they sat on a bench to rest. Chloe held my hand with her left and Nora's with her right, swinging them contentedly. "Daddy, Ms. Vance, don't we look like a real mommy and daddy?" Chloe asked suddenly. Nora's heart skipped a beat. I remained calm. "We are your mommy and daddy." "No, I mean for real, for real." Chloe insisted. "Not the pretend kind." I ruffled my daughter's hair. "What's going on in that little head of yours? Want some ice cream?" "Yes." The subject was successfully changed. But in Nora's heart, a ripple had started. On the way back, Chloe fell asleep in the car. Soft music played as Nora watched the city lights blur past the window, lost in thought. "Thanks for your help today," I said. "It was no trouble." "I had fun too," Nora said honestly. "Chloe really likes you," I said. "More than she likes me." Nora turned to look at me. "How can you say that? You're her father." The corner of my mouth seemed to twitch into a smile, then flattened again. "When she's with you, she talks more, laughs more. Maybe it's because she's a girl and she needs a female role model." Nora didn't know how to respond. So I continued, my voice steady. "During this agreement, thank you for being so good to her." "I told you, I love Chloe," Nora said softly. "It's not because of the agreement." I glanced at her in the rearview mirror, but said nothing more. I pulled up to Nora's apartment building. She unbuckled her seatbelt, ready to leave. "Nora," I said. She turned back. My hand rested on the steering wheel. I was looking ahead, my profile sharp in the dim light. "Next month, my parents want to come stay for a few days." Nora's heart tightened. "Another test." "Probably for a week," I said, turning to look at her. "I'm going to need you to play along." "Okay," Nora nodded. "When?" "The beginning of the month." "I'll let you know the exact dates," I said. "While they're here, you might have to stay at my place to make it look more authentic." Nora was silent for a moment. "Staying at my house, in my territory, with my parents, for a whole week." "Okay," she finally agreed. "Thank you," I said. Nora got out of the car and watched me drive away before heading upstairs. Back in her apartment, she took a shower and lay in bed, but couldn't sleep. Chloe's words at the amusement park echoed in her mind. "Don't we look like a real mommy and daddy?" She held up her hand, looking at the ring on her finger. In the daylight, it was just a simple metal band. But at certain moments, in certain lights, it seemed to give off a faint glow. Nora closed her eyes. "It's fake. It's all fake," she repeated to herself. But why, then, was a small part of her starting to look forward to the next performance? She didn't know. The moonlight streamed into the room, cool and clear, catching the ring on her hand and reflecting a small, pale halo. The day before my parents arrived, Nora packed a small bag and moved into my place. My apartment was in an upscale building, a spacious flat with a modern, minimalist design. The color scheme was mostly gray and white, clean and efficient, but lacking a bit of warmth, like a showroom. Chloe had her own room, decorated in pink and filled with toys and books. It was the coziest space in the house. I had prepared the guest room next to the master bedroom for Nora. You can stay in here. The bathroom is down the hall. I got you all new things. Nora put her stuff away. The bedding in the guest room was light gray, matching the rest of the apartment's aesthetic. My parents get in tomorrow afternoon, I said, leaning against the doorframe. They'll probably stay in a master bedroom, and I'll sleep in the study. You'll be in here. We'll sleep in separate rooms, but in the morning, we have to pretend we woke up together. Nora nodded. Got it. Chloe will play along. I added. She's more into this than we are. Nora thought of Chloe's excited face and couldn't help but smile. She's genuinely happy. I watched the brief smile on her face, my expression shifting slightly, but I didn't say anything. Get some rest. We have another workday tomorrow. The next afternoon, I went to pick up my parents while Nora stayed home to make dinner. She was a good cook and prepared a few of her best dishes. Chloe was her little helper, which mostly meant making a mess. The doorbell rang, and Chloe ran to get it. Grandma! Grandpa! My parents came in and saw Nora, wearing an apron, emerging from the kitchen. They beamed. Nora, you're cooking? Oh, you shouldn't have, my mom said, taking her hand. Don't go to so much trouble. It's no trouble. Please have a seat. Dinner will be ready soon, Nora smiled. I brought my parents' luggage inside. My mom looked around the apartment and nodded. The place looks clean, more like a home now. At dinner, my mom kept putting food on Nora's plate, praising her cooking. My dad was quiet, but his expression was warm. Ethan, my mom said suddenly, you two have been married for a while now. When are you planning on having a baby? Nora choked on her soup and started coughing. I handed her a napkin and answered calmly, we're not in a rush. What do you mean, not in a rush? Chloe is already so big. It would be nice for her to have a little brother or sister, my mom said. Your dad and I are still young enough to help out. Chloe looked up. Grandma, I want a little sister. See, my mom laughed. Even the kids want one. You two should get on it. Nora's face was beet red. She kept her head down and ate, not daring to join the conversation. I came to her rescue. Mom, we have our own plans. Let's just eat. That night, after her shower, Nora was reading in the guest room, dressed in conservative pajamas, mentally preparing for the next day. Around 10, I knocked and came in with a glass of milk. For you, I said, placing it on the nightstand. To help you sleep. Thank you, Nora said. I stood by the bed, not leaving right away. Don't mind what my mom said. She was just talking. I know, Nora said, holding the warm glass. I looked at her lowered lashes, casting a small shadow in the lamplight. Tomorrow morning, I'll come over early. We have to make it look convincing. Okay. I left, closing the door softly behind me. Nora drank the milk, turned off the light, and lay down. In the darkness, she could hear the faint sound of my parents talking in the master bedroom next door. The house, for the first time, felt full of life. She suddenly thought that maybe these days of acting wouldn't be so bad after all. The next day was the weekend, and Nora woke up early. She tiptoed out of bed and went to the kitchen to start breakfast. She had just put the oatmeal on when I came out, dressed in loungewear, my hair slightly messy. Up so early? I asked, walking over. Couldn't sleep, Nora said. I made oatmeal. Are fried eggs okay? Perfect. I opened the fridge and took out the eggs. I'll make them. The two of us worked in the kitchen in comfortable silence, like a real married couple. When my mom came out and saw us, a huge smile spread across her face. Look at them, she said to my dad, who was right behind her. Such a lovely couple. My dad nodded, a smile in his eyes too. For the next few days, Nora and I were a seamless team. We made breakfast together in the morning. During the day, I went to the office and Nora went shopping with my mom or took Chloe to her classes. In the evening, we cooked, watched TV, and chatted together. My mom was incredibly pleased with Nora, telling my dad in private that I had found a right wife this time. Nora started to relax too. My parents were genuinely kind to her, a kindness that made her feel both guilty and cherished. Having lost her own father young, and with her mother's poor health, she had rarely experienced the warmth of a complete family. On Friday night, my mom made a special dinner with dishes from her hometown, and I opened a bottle of red wine. The atmosphere was wonderful. My mom told embarrassing stories about my childhood, and Chloe laughed hysterically. Ethan was always a quiet kid, but he knew his own mind. My mom said to Nora, "Once he decides on something, you can't change his mind." We used to push him to remarry, but he always said he hadn't found the right person. But now he's found you. I just knew he must really like you, or he wouldn't have settled down so quickly. Nora's heart tightened. She looked at me. I was holding my wine glass, my expression calm. "Mom, why are you bringing this up?" I said coolly. "Why not? Nora's family now," my mom laughed. "Nora, dear, if he ever bullies you, you tell me, and I'll take care of him." Nora could only smile and nod. After dinner, Chloe was tired, so Nora took her to get ready for bed. When she came out, my parents had also gone to their room. I was on the balcony, smoking. Nora walked over. In the darkness, my silhouette looked a little lonely. "You should smoke less," she said softly. I turned and stubbed out the cigarette in the ashtray. "Right. What your mom said tonight." Nora hesitated. She was just happy, rambling on. I cut her off, my voice flat. "Don't overthink it." Nora looked at my stoic profile and swallowed her words. "Right? Don't overthink it. It's just a contract. They're leaving tomorrow," I said. "Thanks for all your help this week." "It was no trouble. Your parents are wonderful," Nora said. I was silent for a moment. "They really do like you." Nora understood the implication. Because my parents' affection was real, her deception felt even worse. "I'm sorry," she said, looking down. I turned to look at her. "What are you sorry for?" Nora didn't know what to say. "We're both getting what we want out of this. It's a mutual agreement. There's nothing to be sorry for," I said tonelessly. "Get some rest." I walked back into the living room, leaving Nora alone on the balcony. A cool night breeze blew past. Nora wrapped her arms around herself, feeling an emptiness inside. She knew I was right. A contract marriage, mutually beneficial. So why did her heart ache so much? Was it guilt? Or was it something else? She didn't dare to think too deeply. The next day, after seeing my parents off, the house returned to its usual state of three. Nora started packing her things to go back to her own apartment. Chloe's school has a parent-child field day next week. Both parents are required to attend, I said from the living room. "Are you free?" Nora peeked out from the guest room. "What day?" "Wednesday afternoon." "I can move my classes around," Nora said. "Good," I nodded. "I'll pick you up on Wednesday then." After Nora packed, I drove her home. The car was silent. When we arrived at her apartment building, Nora got out. "Nora," I called. She turned back. I looked at her, my expression complicated. "Thank you for spending this week with my parents. They were very happy." "I was happy too," Nora said softly. "Really?" I seemed to want to say something else, but in the end, just nodded. "See you Wednesday." "See you Wednesday." Nora watched my car drive away, then went upstairs. Opening the door, she was hit by the familiar quietness. She had only been gone a week, but it felt like much longer. She put her bag down and sat on the sofa. Her small apartment, where she had lived for years, now felt strange and empty. She touched the ring on her finger. Fake. It was all fake. But why was a part of her heart starting to wish it were real? Nora buried her head in her knees. "It's over," she thought. "I think I'm getting in too deep." And this was a play that was never going to have the ending she wanted. On Wednesday afternoon, we were at the school for the parent-child sports day. Nora and I had both taken the afternoon off to be there with Chloe. The games were simple: a three-legged race, a relay, and a blindfolded find-your-parent game. Chloe's face was flushed with excitement. She held my hand with her left and Nora's with her right, proudly telling everyone, "These are my mommy and daddy." Nora was dressed in a sweatsuit, her hair in a ponytail. We worked together to help Chloe complete all the events. We won 2 second-place ribbons and 1 third place, and Chloe clutched her prize, a cartoon water bottle, like it was a trophy. After the event, parents and kids started to leave. Nora and I took Chloe to wash her hands before heading home. Outside the restroom, Nora ran into someone unexpected, her ex-boyfriend, Mark. Mark was also with a little boy of about 4 or 5, clearly there for the same event. "Nora." Mark was surprised to see her. His eyes darted from her to me and Chloe, finally landing on the ring on her finger. His expression soured. "Long time no see," Nora said politely, not wanting to chat. "You're married?" Mark's tone was complicated. "Yes," Nora answered curtly, taking Chloe's hand. We have to go. She tried to leave, but Mark stepped in front of her. Nora, I moved to stand between them, my expression calm as I looked at Mark. Is there a problem? I was taller than Mark, and my cold demeanor was intimidating. Mark faltered. No problem, he said, forcing a smile. Just surprised to see Nora's married. Congratulations. Thanks, I said coolly, then put my arm around Nora's shoulder and led her and Chloe away. Even after we left the school, Nora could still feel the warmth of my hand on her shoulder. She felt a little awkward and gently pulled away. I dropped my hand, saying nothing. In the car, Chloe was tired and fell asleep. Nora stared out the window, her mind in a whirl. She hadn't expected to see Mark. Their past was not a happy one. He was a college classmate she dated for 2 years after graduation. His family had disapproved, looking down on her for coming from a single-parent home. Mark had eventually broken up with her and quickly married a woman his family had chosen. Seeing him brought all those unpleasant memories flooding back. Your ex? I asked suddenly. Nora was startled that I'd ask. Yes. Doesn't seem like much, I commented. Nora managed a weak smile. It's all in the past. I glanced at her in the rearview mirror, but didn't say anything else. When I dropped Nora off at her apartment, I didn't leave right away. Let's get dinner, I said. When Chloe wakes up, she'll definitely want pizza. Nora hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Okay. We went to a nearby pizza place. Chloe woke up, full of energy again, and chattered about the sports day. Halfway through the meal, Chloe needed to use the restroom, and Nora took her. On their way back, they ran into Mark again in the hallway. He was alone, seemingly waiting for them. Nora, can we talk? Just for a minute. Mark asked. Nora frowned. We have nothing to talk about. Just 5 minutes, Mark insisted. I want to apologize for what happened back then. Nora glanced at Chloe, not wanting to make a scene in front of her. Chloe, honey, go back to the table with Daddy. Chloe looked from Mark to Nora, then obediently nodded and ran off. What is it? Nora's tone was icy. Mark looked at her, his eyes full of complex emotions. Are you happy? Your husband. He seems well off. I didn't think you'd end up choosing that path, too. Nora understood his implication and sneered. Whether I'm happy or not is none of your business. And what path I choose is not for you to judge. If that's all you wanted to say, I'm not interested. She turned to leave, but Mark grabbed her wrist. Nora, I know I was wrong back then, but I didn't have a choice. My family was pressuring me. The truth is, I've been thinking about you all these years. I'm divorced, just finalized it last week. Let go, Nora said, yanking her hand away, disgusted. Mark, do you really think that just because you're divorced, I should be grateful that you came back for me? You think way too highly of yourself. I'm very happy now. Please don't ever bother me again. Without another word, she walked back to the table. Chloe and I were both looking at her. My gaze was deep, while Chloe's was curious. Ms. Vance, who was that man? Just someone unimportant, Nora said, sitting down and taking a sip of water, her hand trembling slightly. I glanced at her, but didn't press, instead wiping Chloe's mouth. Are you full? Let's go home. Back at her building, Nora was still feeling down. Thank you for today, she said. I looked at her. Are you okay? I'm fine. Nora shook her head. Just a little tired. Get some rest, I said. Nora turned to go upstairs. Halfway up, she stopped and looked back. I was still standing by the car, watching her. Ethan, Nora called my name. Yeah. Are we friends? Nora asked. I was silent for a few seconds. I guess so. Nora nodded. Good night. Good night. Nora went upstairs, opened her door, and turned on the light. The apartment was cold and empty. She sat on the sofa and buried her face in her hands. Seeing Mark today had brought back a lot of painful memories and made her realize more clearly than ever that her marriage to me was, at its core, a transaction. The only problem was she was investing emotions that were not part of the deal. Her phone buzzed. It was a text from me. My birthday is next month. My mom wants us to go home for it. You'll have to come. Nora replied. Okay. Another message came through. That guy from before. If you need any help, let me know. Nora stared at the message, a warmth spreading through her chest. Was he concerned about her? Or was this just part of his obligation as a contract partner? She didn't know, and she didn't want to guess. It was too exhausting. She replied with a thanks, then turned off her phone and went to take a shower. The hot water washed over her, and she finally felt herself relax. Looking at her reflection in the mirror, Nora took a deep breath. Get a grip, Nora. It's a contract marriage for 1 year. When the time is up, it's over. No expectations, no disappointment. She dried her hair, lay down in bed, and closed her eyes. But her mind kept replaying the image of me, standing in front of her, my arm around her shoulder, my text message. If you need any help, let me know. These moments were like pebbles dropped into the still lake of her heart, sending ripples outward. She forced herself to stop thinking. Sleep. Tomorrow is a new day. And her marriage, to me, still had more than half a year to go. In that time, she had to guard her heart. She had to. The week before my birthday, Nora worried about what gift to get me. Something too expensive would be inappropriate. Too cheap, and it would look bad. Too intimate, even more so. After much deliberation, she decided on a tie. Practical, but not overly personal. My birthday fell on a Friday. I picked her up in the afternoon to drive to my parents' house. My mom had already picked up Chloe. In the car, I drove while Nora sat in the passenger seat, holding a wrapped gift box. Here, she said, handing it to me. Happy birthday. I glanced at it and took it. Thanks. I set it aside without opening it. Nora didn't mind. It was just a formality, after all. When we arrived at my parents' house, my mom had already prepared a feast, and my dad was playing with a puzzle with Chloe. Seeing us, my mom greeted us with a wide smile. The birthday boy is here. Nora, come in. You must be tired from the drive. Not at all. Nora smiled. At dinner, my mom brought out a birthday cake, lit the candles, and told me to make a wish. Chloe led everyone in singing, Happy Birthday. I closed my eyes in the candlelight, made a wish, and blew out the candles. Nora watched my face, illuminated by the warm light, and felt a sudden softness in her heart. I hope his wish comes true, she thought. After the cake, my mom had me open my presents. My dad got me a go set, my mom a wool sweater, and Chloe gave me a drawing she made of me, her and Nora holding hands under a smiling sun. Finally, it was Nora's gift. I opened the box and took out the dark blue tie. Nora has great taste. That color suits you, my mom complimented. I glanced at Nora. Thanks. It's very practical. Nora smiled. I'm glad you like it. After dinner, Chloe was sleepy, and my mom took her to bed. My dad was watching TV in the living room. Nora and I went out to the yard for some fresh air. The autumn night was a bit chilly. Nora wrapped her coat tighter around her. Cold? I asked. A little. I took off my jacket and handed it to her. Here. Nora hesitated, then took it. Thanks. The jacket was still warm from my body and smelled faintly of laundry detergent. We stood side by side, looking up at the night sky. There weren't many stars, but the moon was bright. Thank you for today, I said suddenly. For what? It was nothing, Nora said. The gift and playing along, I said in a low voice. My parents were really happy today. I was happy too, Nora said softly. Your family is very warm. I was quiet for a moment. I never used to think so. Raising Chloe alone, the house always felt empty. Now, it feels different. Nora's heart skipped a beat. What did he mean by that? Is it because Chloe's growing up? She asked tentatively. I turned to look at her. In the moonlight, my eyes were shining. Maybe. I paused, then added, or maybe that's not the only reason. Nora couldn't meet my gaze and looked down at her feet. The atmosphere had suddenly become charged. Nora, I said. Yes. Have you thought about what happens after the contract ends? I asked. Nora's heart tightened. He was finally bringing it up. According to the contract, we dissolve the marriage, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. And then, we go back to our own lives. I didn't say anything. After a long moment, I finally spoke, my voice soft. What if I don't want to? Nora's head snapped up, her eyes meeting mine. His were filled with an emotion she couldn't decipher. What? What do you mean? She stammered. I took a step closer to her. I mean, maybe we could try turning this act into something real. Nora's mind went blank. She stared at me, unable to believe what she was hearing. You're saying? I'm saying, I said, enunciating each word, that I've fallen for you, Nora. Not as an act. For real. Nora was stunned. The wind was cool, but her face felt hot. Don't joke about this, she said, taking a step back, her voice hoarse. I'm not joking, I said, my gaze serious. It started as a contract, an act. But somewhere along the way, I started looking forward to seeing you every day, to hearing Chloe talk about you, to our family of 3 weekends. When I saw your ex bothering you, I got angry. When I saw you sad, I wanted to comfort you. I took a deep breath. I know this is sudden, and I know our beginning was absurd, but you can't control feelings. They just happen. I don't want to lie to myself, and I don't want to lie to you. Nora's heart was pounding. She looked at me, and my earnest expression. It didn't seem fake, but could this be part of the act? To make my parents believe it even more? Or for some other reason? Is this because of your parents? Nora asked with difficulty. Because they like me, so you... No, interrupta. It's because of me. Nora, I'm 30, not 20. I know what I want. I reached out and gently took her hand. My hand was warm and strong. I know we have a contract between us, and I know this marriage didn't start from a pure place. But feelings can grow, and a marriage can have a new beginning. I want to try, with you and Chloe, to build a real home. Nora's hand trembled in mine. She looked at me. Her nominal husband, the man who had, without her realizing it, found a place in her heart. Was he telling the truth? Could she trust him? I need some time to think, Nora said, pulling her hand away, her voice low. Okay, I didn't push her. I'll wait. But Nora, don't make me wait too long. I turned and went back inside, leaving Nora alone in the yard. Nora leaned against the wall, her legs feeling weak. What had just happened felt like a dream. I said I had feelings for her, that I wanted to turn this fake marriage into a real one. It was something she had secretly hoped for, but never dared to dream of. But could she believe it? In a marriage that began with a lie, could something genuine actually blossom? She didn't know. She looked up at the moon. Its light was cool, but it illuminated a corner of her heart. Maybe she could give it a try? Once the thought surfaced, she couldn't push it down. Nora took a deep breath of the cold air and made her decision. After returning from my parents' house, the relationship between Nora and me changed subtly. I was no longer just polite and distant. I started texting her to ask what she was doing, inviting her to take Chloe out on weekends, remembering her favorite foods, and ordering takeout for her when she worked late. Nora was a bit hesitant at first, but slowly she started to respond. She would share funny stories from her class, remind me to drink less when I had work dinners, and pack lunches for me and Chloe. We started to develop the rhythm of a real couple. But neither of us mentioned that night again. Chloe, being the most observant, took Nora's hand one day and said, Ms. Vance, I think Daddy has changed. How so? Nora asked. He used to just work when he got home, but now he plays with me. And he smiles more, Chloe said, tilting her head. Is it because of you? Nora patted her head. Maybe it's because Chloe is growing up and being such a good girl. Chloe pouted. No, it's because of you, Ms. Vance. Daddy likes you. I can tell. A child's words, simple and direct, hit Nora right in the heart. Yes, I liked her. I'd said so myself. So what was she still hesitating for? Was she afraid of getting hurt again, or afraid this was just another performance? The year-end approached. My company was having its annual gala and required employees to bring a guest. I invited Nora. She accepted. She bought a tasteful dress and wore light makeup. When I picked her up, a look of genuine admiration flashed in my eyes. You look beautiful, I said. Nora blushed. Thank you. At the gala, I introduced her to my colleagues and business partners. Everyone complimented us, saying we were a perfect match and that Chloe was adorable. Nora handled it with grace, playing the part of the perfect wife. Only this time, it didn't feel like acting. Standing by my side, watching me talk confidently with people, catching the occasional warm glance he sent her way, she felt a sense of security. Maybe this was what happiness felt like. Halfway through the event, Nora went to the restroom to touch up her makeup. On her way out, she ran into an unexpected person in the hallway. My ex-wife, Sophia. Sophia was in town on business and happened to be at the same event. She saw Nora and, after a moment of surprise, smirked. So you're Ethan's new wife? Sophia looked Nora up and down. Chloe's teacher? You're clever. I'll give you that. Going from teacher to stepmom. Nora frowned. Excuse me, I think you should watch your tone. My tone? Sophia laughed. I'm just curious. How did you manage to thaw an iceberg like Ethan? Or is this just a mutually beneficial arrangement? Nora's heart sank. What did Sophia know? I don't know what you're talking about, Nora said calmly. You don't. Sophia stepped closer, lowering her voice. You really don't know why Ethan married you? He needed a wife to get his parents off his back and a mother to take care of Chloe. And you, a simple kindergarten teacher, hit the jackpot by landing him. Is there any actual love between you? It's just a business deal, isn't it? Nora's fists clenched. Sophia's words were like needles, piercing her heart. That's our private business. Not that it's any of your concern, Nora said, turning to leave. Sophia called after her. I'm just giving you some friendly advice. Don't get too attached. Ethan is cold to the core. He's incapable of love. Our marriage was arranged by our families. He treated me, and even his own child, like a task to be completed. Do you really think you'll be the exception? Nora paused for a second, but didn't stop, walking straight back into the ballroom. I was looking for her and came over when I saw her. What took you so long? I ran into someone I knew, Nora said with a forced smile. I immediately sensed something was wrong. Who? Your ex-wife, Sophia, Nora said, not hiding it. My face darkened. What did she say to you? Nothing. Nora shook her head. It's all in the past. I took her hand. Nora, don't listen to her. Don't believe a word she says. Nora looked at my worried expression, and her heart eased a little. Okay, but Sophia's words had left a shadow. For the rest of the evening, Nora was distracted. When we got home, Chloe was already asleep. Nora took off her makeup, changed her clothes, and sat on the sofa, lost in thought. I came and sat beside her. Nora, we need to talk, I said. She turned to look at me. It's true that my marriage to Sophia was a business arrangement. There were no feelings between us, and we divorced quickly. She didn't want Chloe. She thought a child was a burden. My voice was steady, but my grip on her hand tightened. I admit, when I first asked you to enter this contract marriage, it was to appease my parents and give Chloe a stable home. But then everything changed. I looked at her, my eyes sincere and intense. My feelings for you are real. It's not a transaction, not an act. Do you believe me? Nora looked at me, at the earnestness in my eyes, and the doubt in her heart slowly faded. Sophia's words were born of jealousy and malice. My actions over the past months were the truth. She squeezed my hand back. I believe you, Nora said softly. Ethan, I have feelings for you too. My eyes lit up like stars in the night sky. I reached out and gently caressed her face. Then, can we start over? As a real husband and wife? I asked. Nora nodded, but tears started to fall. Yes. I smiled, a genuine, warm smile that Nora had never seen before. I leaned in, kissed away her tears, and then, gently, I kissed her lips. The kiss was tender and firm, full of promise. Nora closed her eyes and kissed me back. The last of her anxieties melted away in that kiss. From now on, their marriage was no longer a contract, no longer an act. It was real, a life together, side by side. 1 year later, it was our wedding anniversary, the day our contract was supposed to expire. But this time, no one mentioned the contract. We had torn it up and thrown it away months ago. Now we were a real married couple. Nora had moved into my home, not the guest room, but the master bedroom. Chloe officially called her mom, and the little girl couldn't be happier, saying she finally had a real mom. My parents and Nora's mom had long since learned the truth. They were surprised at first, but seeing how happy we were, how well our family worked, they had accepted it and offered only their blessings. On the weekend, the three of us went to the amusement park. Chloe had grown and was finally tall enough for the roller coaster. She insisted that we all ride it together. When we got off, Chloe was flushed with excitement, while Nora's legs were so wobbly she had to lean on me. I wrapped my arm around her and chuckled. Why ride it if you're so scared? Chloe wanted to, Nora said with a playful pout. Chloe made a face at us. Mommy and Daddy are being all lovey-dovey. Nora blushed, and I just smiled, ruffling my daughter's hair. Tired, we sat on a bench to rest. Chloe held my hand and Nora's, swinging them back and forth. Daddy, Mommy, can we stay together forever? Chloe asked suddenly. Nora and I looked at each other and smiled. Yes, I said. Of course, Nora added. Satisfied, Chloe leaned against Nora and yawned. Okay, I'm going to take a nap. Don't you dare run away. Go to sleep, sweetie. We'll be right here, Nora said, gently patting her back. Chloe quickly fell asleep. The sun filtered through the leaves, creating dappled patterns on the ground. I took Nora's hand. The simple platinum bands were still on our fingers, but now, Nora's also wore a diamond ring, the engagement ring I had given her when I properly proposed. Tired? I asked. Nora shook her head, leaning against my shoulder. No, very happy. I leaned down and kissed her forehead. Me too. We sat in silence, watching our sleeping daughter, the laughing crowds, enjoying the simple, beautiful afternoon. A year ago, we had been brought together by an absurd contract. A year later, we were bound by genuine love. Life was strange that way. What you thought was a dead end could be a new beginning. What you thought was an act could become real. Ethan, Nora said softly. Thank you, she said. Thank you for agreeing to that contract, and thank you for choosing to turn the act into reality. I smiled, tightening my arm around her and our daughter. I should be the one thanking you, I whispered in her ear. Thank you for coming into my life. Thank you, and Chloe, for giving me a home. Nora's eyes grew misty. She looked up at me, and my gentle eyes, her heart full of warmth. Yes, a home. She used to think home was her mother's small apartment. Then, she thought it was the place she rented. Now she understood that home wasn't a house or a place. Home was having the person you love by your side. It was caring for each other, weathering storms together, and sharing a life. As the sun set, the park's lights flickered on. Chloe woke up, rubbing her eyes. Daddy, Mommy, I'm hungry. What do you want to eat? I asked. Pizza. Chloe was instantly awake. All right, pizza it is. I picked her up, my other hand holding Nora's. The three of us, hand in hand, walked into the growing twilight. The lights stretched our shadows long, intertwining them until they were inseparable, just like our lives, which had gone from parallel lines to a single, unbreakable bond. Chloe, perched on my shoulder, leaned close to Nora's ear. Mommy, I'll tell you a secret. What is it? Nora whispered back. Mrs. Peterson used to say that the two of us with the last name Hayes couldn't win against all those other ladies, Chloe said proudly. But now we have you. Your last name is Vance, but you're one of us. The three of us are invincible. Nora and I both laughed. Yes, invincible. Because we had love, we had a home, we had each other. And that was enough. The night was gentle, the future long, and our story was just beginning. End.